man. We back with a very special episode 6 of the Butcher Block. We're here with the creators of the brand We Don't Run from Adversity, Gary Patterson, Michael Gillis, and we're here at their brand new store at 871 Massachusetts Ave in Indianapolis. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Appreciate y'all having us on, for sure.
Appreciate y'all doing this.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So, I mean, the first thing I want to get into is with you guys moving back into a storefront. How did you guys choose Mass Avenue? What was it about Mass Avenue that drew you guys to this area?
So Mass has always kind of been like the intersection of kind of, I guess you would call it like culture, whether that's like arts, because they had a big art scene, whether it's clothing, or whether it's food too. Mm-hmm. So it's always been that, and then just coming up when we come up close to Chicago, it reminds me of the Wicker Park area on a smaller scale. And Wicker Park got a lot of cool stores. So it was just always like, this is the one street in Indianapolis where people are going to come and walk. Most places in Indianapolis, you driving and parking, getting out. If you're not going to the mall, you're not actually walking to multiple locations. But Mass Ave is the location to do that. So we were always like, if we're going to have another location, it needs to be where it's walkable, where we're not just getting our core audience, we're getting walked by traffic too.
Right. What was behind that decision too? I know for a while you guys were strictly online. After the first storefront. So what was the thought process behind going back into a brick and mortar and going back into this field of it?
Yeah, I mean it was never really the goal to have a store. Like the goal was to operate out of a warehouse and just continue to scale online. But we had a cool opportunity just through relationships, being in the city. Lady Catherine Esselman, she runs a program. I can't even remember what it's called right now. Startup 317. So she was taking it a further step when we moved to the Stutz building. And in doing that, they signed basically like a lifetime lease where they wanted to help small retail businesses or local retail businesses test out having a storefront to see if it would work. So she wanted us to help her and help the program be like that initial launch. It went really well for us. So from that, like he said, we wanted to make sure that we moved on to something bigger and better if we weren't going online. So with our top priorities or top options being the Fashion Mall or Mass Ave, we ended up on Mass Ave just because of like that culture aspect as well.
In this field, how many years have y'all been since the first brand, the Cream 24?
That was 2011.
Yeah. So we started planning for that 2010. We opened that store in 2011.
So 14, 15 years later, how do y'all define success in this field? Is it a monetary goal, or is it by seeing the influence or the support? Because y'all brand is a staple in, Indianapolis. So you see it everywhere you go. When you hear, is that what you would call success? Obviously you're successful because you're still here, but what does success look like for y'all in this field?
I mean, honestly, just being here, like being able to have this establishment, continue to grow, continue to scale, seeing, we used to think that releasing, 8 to 10 items at one time was huge. When we reopened this, we released like 70 new items, which was just crazy. So I think success is just the growth, but sometimes it all gets blurred when you always grinding and you're just continuously moving. But like you said, the shit that put a smile on my face or our face, I would say, is when you are out and you see people that you don't even know. You didn't remember making that sale. You don't know who it is who bought it online. I think that's the stuff that really makes it more rewarding. But success is a hard word because it's defined in different ways. And like you say, you mentioned support. Like support is always good. Very grateful, but it's a dollar amount to support. Like support don't keep no business open. So it's just making it past that support, making it past that core audience of people who already know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I think the growth is just like growing the team. Because for so long it's been me and my nephew, just like heading everything for WDRFA. But over the last couple of years, we've grown our team. So to be able to put other people in position to be a part of this is a sign of success to me. And then also, obviously, being able to be on Mass Ave. When I had KTF, he had just came out here for college, so he was real early on. We actually looked at Mass Ave as a place that we were going to open. Yeah, when we were going to leave Broad Ripple area, we were going to move to Mass Ave, and a lot of people don't know that. And then we just decided not to have KTF anymore. But it was always like I wanted to be there. Because to me, this is like, again, a staple. If you bring anybody to Indianapolis and you want to serve them something cool here, you're probably coming here first. So I think it was a staple. And then also the other part of success is like having y'all in the store and enjoying the space, because we put a lot into the interior design, but also like challenging ourselves to make you like new items. We've been around for 9 years. So in that space, y'all been supporting us and been a part of it since the beginning. But the challenge that we always go back to the drawing board and say, like, how do we get those core early people to say they've never done this? Like, I gotta have that piece. So that's like the motivator and what we see success at 9 years in. Y'all are just as excited as when we dropped the first collection.
Right. Just to piggyback off something Keon said, just asking about the years that you guys have, been in business. I mean, I think that's amazing. And along that road, I know it's been some adversity. So I want to piggyback off of that to ask.
Y'all don't run from adversity.
Right. So where did that acronym come from, and how did it stick? Was it a moment, or was it a piece? Was it something that made that acronym stick?
Moments. I think that's the better word for it. Like everything we do is intentional. And unfortunately, like adversity has hit us hard as a family. Like I just said, like for those who don't know about WDRFA, it's co-owned between me and my nephew. So we're like actually Bliss my blood nephew. So adversity hit us at a young age. His father, my brother, passed away when I was really young. I was 12, he was 4. So, and that just kind of repeated itself throughout our family. His brother, my nephew, passed away. So it was a lot of real life adversity, real harsh times, real dark times that we just been through. But we always also been in the clothing and consumer goods. So when we said, okay, we want to have a business, we want to do clothing again after Cream 24, it's like what means something to us? What can we wear every day that like really represents who we are? But also speaks to like past clothing. Like you don't have to like nothing that we do clothing wise to resonate with WDRFA, because we don't run from adversity. Everybody at some point in your life, you're gonna go through some adversity. Mean, if we just go down the line, I'm sure it's like we going through something now that I might not even know. And we talk often, what I mean? So that's just something that resonates with people. So we thought it would stick from that perspective, because we do think it's bigger than clothes. And I think, over the next year or so, you'll see that from us too. But that's kind of my take for sure.
Yeah, I mean, essentially it was that. Doing stuff like Divided States of America and just doing different little capsules, putting sayings on tees and hats. And then he hit me one day kind of with that name, and we started to like go through trying to like build a collection around it. And then we was just like, nah, that might just be the company name. Like it could stick. We like how the acronym looked together. And I'm sure it's deeply rooted in, his sports background. And, you watch Sports Center, any sports show, any coach in the locker room, like the word adversity comes up like in any sport. So it's just one of those things that kind of ties even past life things into what's going on now.
And I mean, I guess I'll share this because I don't know if I even never shared this with him. After we closed the first store, like I kind of did away with wanting to do anything with clothing. Once you do something and it doesn't go like you want it to, you kind of feel like, damn, it's a failure. You know what I mean? So, but if you're in business at all, then you understand the only way to succeed is to fail first. So it was a failure, but it led to this. So it's not necessarily a failure, it's a learning experience. But when I was thinking about the name, he had got me back into wanting to do clothes because he was doing Kanye West for President hats, and he sold like 500 in the summer. And he was doing, and he was doing Divided States of America. And it caught on so much, and he wanted to do more with it, and he's just like, you should do it again with me. So the running from adversity part 2 was it's the family, but it's also like we're not going to run from the failures that can come with business either. So that was a part of it too.
Me knowing both of y'all the way that I do, it's like, Gary, you a high-level basketball player, very intelligent guy. We have some of the best hip-hop conversations. Mike, with everything you've got going on, you've been successful with events, some of the biggest events probably in the Midwest. putting light on a lot of different restaurants and see you on the news and working with the Pacers, all of these different things. But how does that all tie in to y'all brand and, you know what I'm saying, help your brand grow?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing for us, especially with WDRFA, we tell people, even new customers and people that don't know about us, is that we're a lifestyle brand that focuses on clothes. Like clothes is like that first thing that, of course, we love and that we into, but we have the drinkware, we have the candles, we sell the other things because we're really trying to sell you on the whole lifestyle. Yeah. And I think that kind of ties everything into it. Like you'll see this summer, we got some dope basketball collections coming that ties back to like just Indiana sports and Indiana basketball. But then also with the food stuff, like we've played with different designs and we got the coffee mugs, we got restaurants that'll be involved with future things that we doing. So it's really just finding a way to sell the entire lifestyle. Like I try to look at this like, you know, these college athletes, they got the NIL deals or rappers or whoever where, you know, how can all of this make sense and it don't just look like, you know, I got a 25% off coupon for you to go shop at this clothing store that's down the street. It's like, no, I own that, but it's not just about me owning it. It's about you buying into what it is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and I think for me it's just like intentionality. When we say lifestyle, we really mean that. So everything that you see that we've done, we're probably a part of. We like thoroughly enjoy. So like from coffee mugs. I mean, Mike spent a lot of time with coffee and frequenting coffee shops. So that's really a part of his life.
Right.
So when we do a collaboration with Tinker Coffee, who's in the airport, who's all around Indianapolis, it's intentional because that's a part of what he does. He's fostered those relationships. You know, bourbon is a big part of what I do. Right. So, you know, even having Uncle Near stay on the table, like it's a big deal for us that, you know, they came through and provided us with that for this episode. So shout out to Uncle Near's. But everything we're doing is with intentionality. Right. So even the clothing, it's message driven a lot of times, but also it's for everybody. Yeah, and I think sometimes that's good for us, sometimes that's bad for us because we don't focus on like one segment of customer. But we got people that are 60 to 65 years old who support WDRFA every drop, and our doctors, lawyers, we got priests. Like our range of consumers is so big. That's why like we really call it a lifestyle because you're not gonna like everything we do from a hoodie perspective. But maybe you do like bourbon and you can buy a flask or you can buy a candle. So it's just like a wide range of things that we try to be really intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfectly described. You know, on you guys' Instagram page where it says, you know, it's a lifestyle brand connecting people, places, and things. Right. You know, that's like the perfect definition of everything that y'all do and everything that y'all got going on because, you know, if y'all have an event, you know, people are wearing, we don't run from adversity. You know, people are drinking Sharice. Yeah. You know, like, you know, it's connecting all types of people. You know, you see people from all different, you know, backgrounds, all different ages. So, I mean, I think that was like the perfect definition, you know, for what you guys are doing. Yeah, I mean, and that is the main thing, like just the connections, the just relationships. Like we said, shout out to Uncle Near's, but they literally came in today and was just chopping it up. They had a meeting across the street since we're on Mass Ave. They checking on some of their accounts, different bars and restaurants on the block. And I was like, you know what if y'all just give us a bottle? You know, we doing a podcast with two black business owners, we black business owners. Fawn Weaver's a black business owner. It would make sense for us to at least, you know, have a sip or have a bottle or something of it. And they didn't even think about it. Yeah. You know, they gave it to us. But that's also from being connected with them, doing right by the relationships, seeing them grow, seeing us grow, where it's a no-brainer. I'm sure it's other people doing things where the same question wouldn't have got the same response.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not forced. Yeah. That's the other part. Like, nothing we do is forced. Like, I remember you sending me a picture when you got the equipment for this. Like, we was talking about that, and you was like, we about to take the next step, and you showed me the picture. So to see this, like, we probably could have did this a long time ago, but it's not forced. Right. So it was, like, going to be done at the right time. Yeah. So that's how we just, like, push through everything with the brand. It's at the right time it'll happen. Another thing, too, I want to, you know, glaze over is, you know, when you guys do drop the collections and the capsules, you know, the tangible evidence of influence, you know, the presidents are temporary, you know, the divided states of America. How do you guys come up with those? Is it like, you know, you're going through with a design and, you know, this phrase sticks? Do you think it out before you design?
Is this something that you guys discuss together? Is it just just not being forced, like you said? It's just something that just happened natural?
First of all, it happens natural. I think everything you see from WDRFA, no matter what phase, it's a joint effort. Like, it's our brainchild. There may be things that, like, he's more focused on, like his social media presence. It's undeniable, right? So the way that he approaches how things look visually, he probably will lead more of that, right? Where I'm probably always telling him, hey, I thought about this saying. Is it cool? He might be like, nah. I might go through 100 sayings, and he'd be like, nah. And then he might come to me and like, presidents are temporary sticks. And as soon as I hear it, I'm like, no, that's it. So it's always like a joint effort. But honestly, it's our take on just like social commentary.
Right.
A lot of times, like, we really see stuff for tangible evidence of influence. We really in an era where everybody feels like they're doing a lot but not really doing much. Like, what's your call to action? How many people can you actually get to buy a product or listen to a podcast or things of that nature? So it was us kind of taking a dig, like, everybody swears they're influential, but what's the tangible evidence of that? So, and then we just wrap that in the clothing. So I would say that the collection comes first, and then we figure out a cool way so it doesn't feel like it's beat over your head and you still want to wear it, but it still sticks.
Right.
Yeah, it's those things that we really just, with a lot of the stuff, just like our name and outside of it, like, we're trying to strike an emotion, especially with the capsules and the different collections that we do. That's not just pure WDRFA brand. Like, the goal is just to make people feel a way, whether that's good, bad, but just react to it. And in doing that, like, the presidents are temporary. Like, it's a very true saying. Like, it's nothing false about it.
Yeah.
But different people feel different ways about it. So it's just finding that crossroads or in between section where we have the people who want to be socially conscious, but then also people who might just like the design. I just might like that it's $1 on the back of this hoodie, and I don't really care about that. Sure. But one of our goals this year, which we started with the President's Collection, is just kind of explaining that more, like not giving people everything, almost like some Kendrick stuff where it's like it's thought-provoking, and we're going to do more video and visual content where we'll explain a little bit of what we're thinking, but we still want people to come up with a conclusion of whatever it is on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's subjective, right? And presidents are temporary. Like, everybody can go to what's going on right now. But honestly, a lot of that was drawn from, like, inspiration from the Jay-Z and Nas music early, and how money is temporary. Specifically, if you're an entrepreneur, you know that.
Right.
You're spending a ton of money right away.
Oh, yeah,
so as soon as you get it, or when you feel like I've reached the pinnacle and I'm making a lot of money, somehow you're not going to have it in the next moment. So that's
Earnings
the other.
go out or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So it's the duality of those messages too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, has it ever been any pushback? I mean, like I say, a lot of people, you say something, they see something on your shirt, presidents are temporary. They see some divided states of America. Have it ever been any type of pushback from, just being, like I said, it creates social commentary, but has it ever been any forced conversations or any ill feelings about some of the sayings?
I'll give you a funny story that just happened over the past week. But first of all, we stand in whatever we say.
Right.
So we're not really worried about that. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it either. So we very much on that type of time. But also, we're not really offending nobody.
Right.
Like, it's nothing we said that's like, we don't like this person versus that person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I had
People come to their own conclusions.
all the time. And we know that. Plus, it's closed. Like, it's subjective. So do with it what you will.
Right.
Like, if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. Like, we very much that too. We're not begging anybody to come in here and be a part of that either. When you do a niche store, then that's kind of what what comes with the territory. But I had a lady who actually runs a daycare. Her first time in, it was about a week ago. She looked at false information as the new truth, and she was like, why would you push that message? And I'm just like, because for us right now, it is. And you might think we're talking political, but we're not. Like, there's so many things that are misrepresented on social media right now.
Yeah.
As soon as we see it, if it's in big font, we think it's true.
Yep.
Right? So it's just like, nah, false information is the new truth until you go and read and say, oh, no, that wasn't true. But we didn't ran with a lie that somebody just got killed. We don't know. But I'm calling somebody, man, you heard somebody else got killed?
Right.
Like, we run with those things so much that false information is the new truth. So it was a good, cool conversation, because it's going to never be disrespectful anyway. And I said, okay, we agree to disagree. And she totally fine with it. And she ended up buying another piece that she actually liked, but she appreciated the back and forth dialogue, and I actually appreciated somebody challenging us, because that doesn't happen a lot. So it gives me the ability to explain to you our thought process. So that was cool for sure.
If both of you guys could you tell me a few of like your favorite pieces, you know, throughout the whole process, like something that you probably still wear from KTF, or you know, something that just stuck out, like y'all made it, y'all was like, yeah, this the one, or something that, you know, that the people really, you know, just went platinum in the streets or something, like, you know what I'm saying?
So I'll give you like the one that I think from a brand perspective really took off. It was actually, it's two, but the main one is the We Don't Run From Adversity, just our Census logo t-shirt, and it was during 2020. So obviously in 2020, like everything was going to shit, right? And then for black businesses, for whatever reason, everybody wanted to support more. So it felt like right at that moment, like just our We Don't Run From Adversity basic t-shirt, it went crazy. We sold like 100 in like 2 weeks. So it was just going crazy, and it was a salmon color that just was like super popular. So I would say from that perspective, that was really popular. And then we did luggage. Very early on in our brand, we did a whole luggage collection with People for Urban Progress here as a collaboration. Okay. And we had like a pop-up shop at an art gallery, a black art gallery here, and that sold out the same day. So it was like super popular. And for me, we did luggage, right? That was crazy. One of my favorite pieces, I'm actually wearing it now. I usually double up on most of the things, especially hats. But
we can't get none?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. But all right, well, you got everything. You got it on now. But not made for the faint of heart, which is the hat I got on right now. It's the only piece from a hat perspective that I don't have doubles of. Okay. So I probably didn't wear it twice, and I pulled it out for this. But it's one of my favorite pieces for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I go back to the raglan from KTF.
Yeah, with the felt letters on it. That was hard.
Yeah, the
That's crazy.
With the eyes on it too.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite joints for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's almost 15 years ago. KTF was Cream 24. That was our first store that we had, where we carried like other brands, not specifically KTF, but the stuff that he's talking about, like, yeah, that was KTF specific brands for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, if we go back to KTF, I'll say at that time for me it was the Schwood sunglasses. I still got a pair of those just because it was crazy. And they still look crazy when you wear them, but just having the wood sunglasses. But with WDRFA specifically, probably the backpack that we did with People for Urban Progress with Pup. So the backpack, and then the other like kind of travel bag that we did with James Dant, the camo wax.
You guys did it. You did. Was that at? Did he have a store?
We did it at the store.
Yep. He still got the store. Yep, he's still open.
We did the store. Yeah.
He just rebranded to just Dant now, but that was probably my favorite pieces prior to opening the stores. Since we've been here, I'll say my favorite that we did recently is like the long sleeve soccer tees, as it got more of like a little boxy kind of oversized fit, and then just some of the colorways that we did, they so neutral, and I feel like it's just easy to wear. I'm ready for like spring, wear that with some shorts, and I'm cool like every day.
Anybody in business, one of the first things that you hear is, don't hire your family. But at all your events, I see so much support from your family. Y'all close, hang out at the event after.
Yeah.
And whether they're officially on the books or on payroll, how do you feel about that? How have y'all been able to involve your family and make it work? Because me, I do everything with my brother, but sometimes dealing with other family, it has been a headache. You know, it has been hiccups. So how do y'all make that work?
I think for starters with that, you kind of got to be the example of what you want to see. So I think a lot of people in our family just like kind of view me and Mike's relationship and how we've walked through different pitfalls of the business. So they support it because they know it's authentic. And you and your brother been working together for a long time, so you would understand this. But when you match each other's energy and work ethic, and you put the same amount of time in, so you know, like, if I'm upset, it's only because I want the best for you and us. Like, when you get to that, then it's hard to ever really be mad or ever have a falling out about money or about anything that's going on within the business. But when you not family or you don't potentially care about the person as much, it's easy to say, oh, you make more money than me, or you didn't put in the time, so I can walk away from that relationship. There's no way I can walk away from my nephew. right? Like that's a duty of mine to be in my nephew's life, right? So it's just like this business will never be the pitfall of that. So the business will go away and we'll just go back to regular, like that never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that plus just with anybody in business, but especially with family and just knowing you got to be able, whoever you work with, you got to be able to have difficult conversations with them, especially if you lead them from the top. So if you can't, check what's going on or have a disagreement and still be cool in 5 minutes, 10 minutes the next day, then it'll never work. But nah, the whole family on payroll, we protected. We good.
You know that y'all move the same way, right? Like y'all always with the same group. I mean, and we are part of the group. Y'all are part of our group, so we know that. And a lot of the times, you understand like there's almost nobody that you will see us with that you don't know.
Right.
So just being familiar, like everybody say that day one stuff, but I think within this table, we really live that, we really walk that. So when you really care about the people from day one and they really want you to succeed, then it's easier to have different things with them.
Yeah. Just speaking on family too. Where did that initial kind of fashion bug come from for you guys? Was it family? Was it where you grew up? Was it hip hop scene? What did that initial bug to want to design? I mean, I know both of y'all for a long time. Y'all always been fashionable guys. So where did that initial fashion bug come from?
So my brother, his father, always was just like kind of ahead of the curve. If you're familiar and from 219 area code, and you know what Jimmy's is, and it was in Woodmar. When he was in high school, he was so forward that Jimmy would let him wear shoes and bring them back. Switch out for other shoes. Yeah. So I started with shoes, right? Like that was my focus, my love, work for God's soul. And then my sister is like super fashionable too, specifically more as an adult. It's been a huge influence there. But for me, it was just like standing out outside of basketball. I think, and that even carries.
We can stop real quick. You design too. You was designing shoes.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. That's major. For sure.
The forces with the Louis material.
Yeah. Okay, so so I'm getting to that.
We skipped over that.
No, we didn't. I'm getting to it.
Okay, all right, cool.
So part of the basketball, when you're known for something, like some people like love that attention, but for me it was like it's too much.
Right.
Like I want to be known for other stuff outside of that I'm passionate about. So if you see me, you be like, oh, that's cool for what it is, not cool just because you hoop. So I was always trying to transition out of people knowing me for just playing basketball to, oh, no, he do other stuff. So even when we was talking about that, hip-hop influence, like Diplomats, early 2000s, everybody was doing Air Force Ones with material. I took it a step further with my cousin, and we were going to an actual shoe cobbler so he can deconstruct the shoe and put material on it. So when you see our shoe, it looks like it came from Nike. So that was a difference. And once we started doing that, I knew that I had a different mindset toward clothing where it was like everybody would stop here and I'm trying to dig further in the crates to say, how do I stand out even more? With even being simple, because my style is very much simple, but how do we stand out from a quality perspective? So it started there with just like digging in the crates, and then my brother and my sister always being fresh and like, oh, that ain't fresh, bro. Like they would tell me stuff like that. Yeah. So now I got to impress them too. You know what I mean?
And then of course him being my uncle, just being around him, and then cuz D March, just I remember the first time they took me to Leaders. I was in like 7th grade. I left school early. Took like a half day, went there, and that shit like changed my whole mindset. Shout out to D. Yeah, shout out to D. Yeah. So seeing that, and then seeing like Wicker Park, going to St. Alfred, really seeing Leaders and all that, that's what really changed me a lot with the clothes. Going to Chicago young, I say the most, is because out there so many people, people want to stand out and look different. Growing up in East Chicago and then even moving to Maryville, it was like in EC, as long as you had on fresh pair of Dickies, fresh white tee, whatever was the latest J's, you was cool, you know what I'm saying? And then you get fresh for turkey tea, and then that's kind of it. Like whatever it is though, as long as you had the shoes, you was good. But Chicago was like the first time I really seen like people take it past that, where it's like, nah, it's different people wearing some Jordan 3s or Jordan 5s, and they wearing them different ways. Yeah. It ain't like one accepted way to be cool. So just being exposed to stuff young showed me that. and then just digging deeper into shoes, knowing about Nike SBs and different stuff. But like I say, it was him and D that, you know, while they was cool in high school, I'm seeing it all happen. So I'm going with them to, you know, the shoe person to see them put the material and stuff on. I'm seeing them use the puffy paint to really put on the forces and stuff. So by the time I'm in high school, especially at Maryville, it's like,
I think
it's over with.
D probably was the first person I seen with the Flow Lift P coat on.
Yeah. I mean, man.
I'm like, it was different, but I'm like, man, that shit kind of fly though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
he put the Lamborghini kit on the Mustang.
He did.
Like,
with the doors going up. Yeah. I mean, and that's just, at that point, it was just like, what can you do that's just like off the wall?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just gonna make people think different. And being 18 or 19, going to Wicker Park at this time, this is very early Leaders. Leaders wasn't even in Wicker at that time. It was on the south side. Yeah. We were just getting like Adidas Consortium, which was like crazy at that time, before this new Adidas wave. But just like seeing that type of stuff in Chicago changed you. I mean, and then you come back and you're still going to River Oaks at the height of River Oaks and South Lake at the height of South Lake. And where we from, people still like to get fresh. Like, it's like, just because we saying Chicago is the influence, it's not like everybody in East Chicago and the surrounding areas don't try to get fresh. They do. Like, we all care about our appearance. So it was just always that competition.
Yeah.
And what's some other local brands or black-owned brands that y'all see that y'all be like, okay, yeah, they got some shit too, you know, that y'all that caught y'all attention?
Clothing brands?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, ain't that many. Honestly. Like, not even, I'm just trying to say, like, just overall, like, how many brands is. I feel like everything now is kind of like blurred, and the lines of everything is just different. Like, you got Hellstar, you got Valley Sports, you got a lot of different stuff that's going on where you don't even know the owners, you don't necessarily know what's going on. When you look in the state, people that's doing stuff, Flyboy Lifestyle, you got
Kamafi.
But even now, I was gonna say with that, it's like that's really the only thing from the crib outside of for everyday use. My guy Taji from Gary, Maryville area, he doing a lot of stuff. I know a lot of the kids fuck with that. And there's other people doing stuff, but it's so hard. The lines are so blurred now where it's a lot of people that's taking this shit as a hobby, and they getting in the way of people that's really, you know, trying to make a living or put other people in position and do shit at a high level. So for me, it'd be pissing me off a lot because you got, you know, we got a clothing brand, we got a lifestyle brand, we do different stuff. If somebody from here or just from Indiana in general print something on a T-shirt tomorrow and be like, you know, I got a T-shirt brand, I do hoodies and shit like Mike G. Them. It's like, no, you don't, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just different until you at this level where you really got 60, 70 different pieces that you can really go through, shop, touch, feel, and say, no, this shit feel just as good as anything that you could get from anywhere else. But
I mean, and then you start feeling like the older people on the block too. It's like, get off my grass type. You know what I mean? Like,
unless you're gonna take it serious.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and I guess it's just because of the amount of time and effort and energy and the pitfalls that we went through is why you would kind of feel like, damn, it's just such a low barrier to entry. But at the same time, it's like the best time for clothes and the worst time. The best time because anybody can do it. All the information is right in front of you. Where like I had to do the homework and work and got sold, right? Like I had to understand what a buyer, like how to buy clothes and what that means and looking at line sheets and creating tech packs. Like there's an education to it that I think is missing. And I think that's not only missing there, I think it's missing across industry while everybody like knows about everything, but nobody's an expert. And I think that's the point that we are in. So it makes it hard to even judge clothes because there's a lot of brands that like we're super cool with here in Indianapolis that are doing a good job too. But like we always look at ourselves as how am I competing with Kith? How am I competing with Amy? Like if you come in here, we want you to say, nah, this hoodie is amazing. Not that like it's cool because y'all my guys. Like that's a slap in the face for me because I really care about this. So, you know, I want you to say our candle is fire. Like and it compared to any candle that you will go see. So we put so much into the quality that we honestly always look like to the world. We're trying to compete for sales. It's online, right? We also have an online store. So if you can go online and buy any other brands that you like, whether that's high fashion or not, like that's taking money away from us. So I think sometimes people localize themselves or regionalize themselves too much by just saying like we're a local brand. It's like, yeah, we are just because you know about us, but we also do sales in Seattle, Texas, DC. Like we got customers all over the country, so we should act like it. And I think like my message to brands here is stop calling yourself local. Like you're a brand first, not a local brand, right? If you're a local brand and you feel that way, cool, but that's never what we're gonna do. Like we're WDRFA, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think just being like in a small market like we in, it's just a lot of opportunity for people who might want to start brands or do different stuff. And we haven't always been receptive to it, but we have been more now so over the last year. But it's just like, you know, finding ways for us to come together, work together, do different things, whether it's collaboration or whether it's design, and we pay you for that, where, you know, you can still be creative and you can do stuff, but you don't also have to take on all the risks. Like we could pay you whatever your rate is for some designs if we think that it's worth it. Right. You can make your money, get your creative outlet out, but you don't have to go invest $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 into trying to start a brand just because you think what you're doing is cool or gonna make you a lot of money, because making clothes can make you a lot of money, but the longevity is continuously making more clothes to continue making money. So just any kind of retail business, it's not like it's a super cash cow. So for anybody that's trying to start a clothing brand, that's trying to get rich, unless your best friend is Travis Scott or something, it ain't finna just happen that easy.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure it's similar to podcasting, and that's why I say, like, it's not just clothing. It's like all arenas, because now a lot of people think, oh, I can just get in front of a mic and I'm going to be cool, I'm going to be funny, I'm going to get clicks. So I'm sure that y'all fighting that too, where, like, a lot of people have podcasts right now, just like a lot of people have brands, like everybody trying to start it. So, like, what's y'all perspective on the podcasting, because now that feels oversaturated?
Yeah, I mean, you with that, you know, like this was something that came up an idea in our loft, you know what I'm saying, 12, 13 years ago.
Yep.
You know, at that point in time, we didn't know what we had. You know, we even had you on earlier.
Yep.
You know, we didn't know what we had, but that was what a podcast looked like. So it wasn't something that was done because now we see a bunch of people getting clicks, we see a bunch of people getting attention. It was just something that, you know, we love to do. You know, we always talk shit about sports and hip hop, you know, clothes, current events. Just came to me and my brother like, this should be getting documented. You know, we sit in the barbershop and talk for 2 hours. You know, this should be getting documented. We sit in clothing store, wherever. You know, we talk for a couple hours. We should be documenting this. So that's where it came from with us. And, you know, going back and looking at those old videos, we can see and we know that this came from just like a genuine place, something that we always wanted to do. Right.
Yeah. And then everybody that get on our platform, it got to be on brand. Like, I mean, we ain't really letting nobody get up here that don't represent the right things and just chasing trends. We had people trying to connect us with people like, he got this many followers, and if it ain't what we do, it's like, I'd rather take the slow grind, because at the end of the day, if we don't make a dime, it's still cool to kick it with our people. Then, you know what I'm saying? We giving other people the platform, letting other people hear everybody's story. So at the end of the day, it got to be on brand, it got to be quality, and, you know, relatable to what we do and what we believe in. Like, we not chasing trends or just throwing somebody up here because they got X amount of followers.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I mean, we run into it now with the clothes where, you know, we got some stuff a little oversized, we got some stuff coming a little boxy, but the core of what we do, most of our core pieces is still, you know, just a core regular tight fitting piece for what it is. Like, we got T-shirts that fit different kind of ways, but yeah, in this world right now, it's a constant battle, I think, in all aspects of life, just to, like, stay who you are and grow within that, opposed to not being who you are and being, you know, experiential at, you know, you past 25 years old, you shouldn't really be experimenting with who you are. You should be trying to grow, but you shouldn't just be out here doing anything just to be accepted on the internet.
I mean, and if you are, like, some people don't know who they are at that age, and it's cool, but it's just like, it looks a way and it comes off a certain way when you just jumping from thing to thing to thing.
Right.
And I think,
pause.
You know, super pause. Super. He gonna laugh like Nate now the whole time. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's being authentic. Like, do you really like it, right? So, podding is something that, like you said, these conversations happen all of the time anyway. So it's something that y'all could have even started earlier because it's always been y'all passion to want to do it and talk about different things. And just like clothing, like whether we have this brand or not, when we didn't, we still texting each other all the time about, did you see this release, or what if they did this, or I wish they made this type of piece. So it's just so much embedded in us that we just, it's our everyday. So we would do it anyway. So we're actually passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah, and just just taking it back a little bit, just you guys being here for so long at this point, how have you seen fashion kind of progress in Indianapolis?
So I've been here.
Or has it progressed?
So I've been here since 2004. Ironically, I would say no. And I mean, I don't say that like to throw no shade or anything to anybody, but when I look at is the fashion scene moving, big brands are still not trying to come here. Like we just lost Saks Fifth Avenue, right? And it's because the buyer isn't here for Saks. If you go to Saks in other cities, they don't even carry the same stuff that they carried in Indianapolis. And there's a reason for that. So it's not a shot. I think there is an uptick in creatives that are trying to push things forward, and independent brands. So we got a lot of cool independent brands here for sure. But when I look at the scene, the reason why Chicago's so dope is because you do got leaders in No Tree and Joe and all of those things. But then you can go to Nordstrom's and Louis and all of these other places. So there's a variety of clothes you can buy. Right. There's not a variety of men's clothing that you can buy in Indianapolis. And from a consumer, I'm a consumer at heart, whether it's WDRFA or buying other brands. Like I can't go in Indianapolis and really buy a lot of clothing. That's an issue. And that's honestly why we decided to have a brick and mortar too, is to just bring that experience back, that true boutique experience. So I would say in the years that I've been here, I don't think it's grown to the level that I would have liked it to grow at this point. We should have 5, 6, or 7 different stores on Mass Ave that you can go buy clothes in. So you can spend the whole day shopping on Mass Ave. And when people come to the city and it's like, well, where else can I go? I'm like, I give them a couple other brands, but it's like, that's really it. So I feel bad because then I'm like, depending on if you're from a big city, I'm like, it ain't gonna be nothing like what you thinking. And I hate it because I think it's opportunity.
Yeah, it's most definitely opportunity. I see that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say I ain't really seen major changes, but I moved out here 2015, and I think the biggest thing that I seen change that was good is like when I moved out here, niggas was really wearing like just Maxes with everything, like the latest Air Max, like Air Max 2015s, with, like with some jeans and everything. So it's a little different now. I think with the internet, just being more accessible, people with social media, just seeing how more people dress, not just having to look at, rappers or music videos and stuff. It's like you could just see that the world is a little bit smaller, so you could be influenced by more. So I think people dress a little bit better, but I still think, at the crib, we dress way better than what's going on down here.
I mean, it's kind of just is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Like
I ain't want to make it like a shot at nap.
Bro, listen, and we talk about this all the time. We talk
ice cold, money don't fold.
That's what I was gonna say too. Just about like you think about me, like no shade to Boosie, of course, but like for Boosie to be as big as he is here, like it's other places in the country that don't understand like. He is a god out here. I was just watching the podcast earlier, and they was talking about how if Jay-Z and Boosie was in Indianapolis at the same time, more people would be at the Boosie concert.
Yeah.
So that should let you know about the clothes and the fashion and everything that kind of go into it.
That's a salute to their culture because they're like, we don't care. Like, it's our culture, which is fire. And, like, when you get to a city that really don't care about nothing outside of that, you got to salute it. I think just for us, it's just one of those things where I just would have liked to see the scene progress more, right? Like the type of stuff that I'm into, I can't buy here, and I haven't been able to buy here for 20 years. Yeah. So like that's where I'm like, it hasn't progressed enough. But our core is like Indianapolis, so it's definitely a lot of people here that are still forward in how they do it. I just feel like it's not enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I feel it's. Putting on clothes is one, like buying clothes is one thing, but like putting them on and styling them and how you wear them is the other. Right. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes in smaller markets like in Indianapolis, people feel like because you have the piece that it still looks away. Yeah. It's like that really don't make it enough just because you got some Louis shoes. It's like,
I just feel like
you ain't wear it right.
Just bringing everything back. into perspective, for any, young designer that's watching this, what would be some information that you would give them, some do's and some don'ts, some things that you guys learn, throughout the whole process, going from different brands, online, brick and mortar, what would be some things that you would give some young up-and-coming designers?
Enjoy the process, because it's going to definitely be one. Most of the people that you see in the position that you want to get in, they put in their 10,000 hours or more. Like if you've seen the behind the scenes of how earlier this morning we were here 8, 9 o'clock shooting videos that won't come out for a couple weeks. And it's going to be 9, 10 o'clock before we leave the store tonight, and we right back at it in the morning. We both do multiple things. So just start to enjoy the grind. Understand that, like, your time is important, but failures won't define you unless you let them. You have to keep progressing through, right, and change. Like, I think you have to be okay with telling yourself you're not the greatest all the time. Like, and that's something that we fight sometimes. I think this design is going to be amazing. And then he's like, no, that shit is trash. And I have to just, like, you know what I mean? Like, take that and say, okay, how can I go back and get better? So understand that everything you're doing isn't the greatest thing, and everything ain't going to sell out. So just enjoy that process, because at some point you'll get to the position that you want to be in if you put in enough work.
To piggyback off that, what I would say is just be real resourceful. Like, all the information is there now, so you really don't got to, like, jump in the water and swim if you don't know how. Like, you really could take your time. Like, you can't rush the process of learning everything. Like, trying to rush the process can be expensive. Like, if you just want to jump in and you just feel like you got to do something right away. So the more time you spend being resourceful and just finding out how to do certain things, how to source things, talking to manufacturers or learning what tech packs are, or, spending time on YouTube University or wherever that, it might make the most sense for you. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you got to just put those hours in. Like, before we started this, we've been in the clothes. I used to work for a print shop. I know what a PMS color is. I know about different inks. I know about different threads. But that ain't shit that I'm just finna walk around and tell people about. But I truly know about how all of this shit works before we even had the brand. But it was, me consciously saying, you know what, I'm gonna leave this corporate job, take a little less money, and learn about the industry. So in the future, I'll be all right. Luckily, it worked out for me, because it was dumb as hell looking back now. But it's like, luckily it worked, because this was the goal, like, to be at this point. So, take the chances. You're going to fail sometimes, but just learn from it. But just be as calculated as you can as you take the risk. And that's just, in life anyway. Yeah.
Lastly, man, how can the people find you guys? Online, Instagram?
871 Mass Ave. Definitely come check us out. We're real close to Yats. That's a primary spot that you can see us about it. Everybody kind of knows on Mass, so 871.
Yeah, across the street from Bottle Works. And then all social media, We Don't Run, WEDNTRUN, and WDRFA on Facebook. But, yeah, in Indianapolis, but we ship worldwide. Find us WDRFA.com.
Okay, y'all got any upcoming events or any drops y'all want to plug?
I don't know when this exactly gonna come out, but we starting end of February, and then moving on probably like every 2 months we're gonna be doing like the last Friday of every other month, doing a just like with an artist series, because we got like black artists that we feature in our stores. We got Box Up right now. So we're going to be doing like a little wine and drink event, light hors d'oeuvres, where she'll be able to basically turn our store into an art gallery for, 3-4 hours. People could come through, shop, and then they could also buy art if they want, or just, be able to meet the artist and talk with her. We're going to have Fitz in here next. He do a lot of real dope characters, like animation kind of stuff around black characters. But that's one of the main things we focused on. And then with the wine, who knows, spring, summer, time to shine.
We're getting ready for it.
Yeah.